Yo, what's good, everyone? Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Wow, happy Monday. I try to stay away from saying like happy Monday, happy Tuesday, and all that stuff because it's so common, commonly used, but it's really hard to stay away from it. So, good morning to everyone. It is Monday, the 6th of November, 2023. It is 9 or 7:11, I guess, here in Utah. It is 55 degrees Fahrenheit. And yeah, I mean it's beautiful out here. So let's see what that looks like in Celsius. 15 degrees. It's not bad. The other day was like negatives, so it's all good. This is actually very manageable. Give me one sec. Turn on the music real quick. Yeah, no, this weather's nice. I actually, I fell asleep with my window open last night, so it really was not bad. I slept really well. I trust that you guys' weekend was very productive and very unwinding. It was for me. I had a really good weekend. Um, Not to brag or anything, but I didn't look at a single chart. I didn't have any time to really study because I was in my office space today. This weekend, but it was just really nice staying away from the charts and everything. Honestly, for a whole 3 days, I didn't even turn on my computer for these past 3 days. It was really nice. So enjoyed that quite a bit. The weekend was amazing. I feel great with the energy. I feel sore as hell since I started working out, but besides that, I feel like that's just like the first few weeks. Then when your body gets used to it. All right, so let's dive right into the US dollar and see what we're looking at in terms of the economic calendar, okay? Because personally, this week looks pretty calm. Wednesday, let's see. Yeah, CPI would be next week, I'm sure. Around Tuesday, Wednesday. So this week we actually have it's like the calm before the storm, right? Monday we don't have really anything US dollar wise. We got some AUD news coming up at 10:30 p.m. Tuesday is got some NZD news, Kiwi right there. If anybody trades Kiwi, Wednesday GVP coming around 4:30 a.m. An hour and a half after after the London Open. Then New York session does have some news in terms of Federal Jerome Powell. He's going to be speaking at 9:15 on Wednesday. That's a good turning point for the market in case we do go in one direction. That may be a really good point of reversal for the market. Thursday we have some unemployment claims as well at 8:30 a.m. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, unemployment claims is like every week. If I'm not mistaken, like that comes out almost every week. Yeah, it comes out almost every week, almost every Thursday. I'm not really too concerned about that. Okay, so just an FYI. On terms of unemployment claims, comes out almost every week. Not that it makes a difference of how impactful it may be, but just anticipate 8:30 a.m. news on Thursday, and it's a very common news. See if there's a pattern there that may be useful or helpful to you. But as for me, I'm not really looking to actively trade those unemployment claims. And then once more, Federal Jerome Powell is speaking on Thursday. Again, the turning point between Wednesday to Thursday is pretty likely. Okay. Friday, we come in with some US dollar news at 10 a.m. Again, consumer sentiment, not, this is I guess, like the pre numbers for the consumer sentiment. not very impactful either. So the only ones that really get my attention is these Jerome Powell speaking both Wednesday and Thursday. That Thursday one really gets my attention as well. So I'll be actively looking at those. We'll be together on Wednesday for the first one, and then on Thursday at 2 p.m. we won't be together, but you guys be tentative to that. Okay. For my private study group, we're not meeting up this week. Yeah, for my private study group, we won't be meeting up for news this week. There's just not anything that I'd actively trade or be looking at. And just as a reminder, guys, I put a date on it now as well. So the last stream we're doing for 2023, the last New York session stream that we're doing for 2023 is going to be on the 21st of this month. So we got another like 3 full weeks together, or 2 full weeks together. Okay, so let's make the best out of these next 2 weeks. So let's start with the US dollar. We went through it fundamentally. Now let's look at it on a more analytical aspect. So as you guys know, every single Monday, every start of the week, I will start my markups from scratch, and I'll take you guys from top to bottom on how I walk myself through the time frames. Okay, and how I get these zones, areas that usually price seeks out for throughout the day or stops dead in its tracks. Okay, so the biggest thing is whenever I'm looking at price, I always look at the range. Okay, I'm always acknowledging the higher time frame range. Here you guys can see that 50% and below, since this retracement on the weekly has begun, you guys can see that 50% and below, we have this previous monthly low. Not just that, but on the weekly perspective as well, it goes down a little bit lower. Okay, but for now, we'll look at it on a monthly perspective. Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, so 50% and below, you got this internal liquidity level. Not just that, but over here you also do have this bullish insufficiency. Now here's where you guys have to really pay attention to time. Okay, candle closures and openings. You have to understand that price has another 24 days. Okay, has another 24 days before it does and closes and gives us the narrative for this current printing month. Okay, so we have another 24 trading days before we see this candle close. So a lot of people may scream bearishness at the moment, but here in this imbalance, we may fill it out all the way. We may respect 50% of it. We may come all the way down here and still respect this insufficiency, right? So for me, I'm just acknowledging the range and time. Okay, time and price, because time means nothing without the correct price, and price means nothing without the right time. So time and price imbalances right here, we're gonna leave those intact at the moment. Not something that I'm looking to, I guess, seek out the lower end of it, but I do want to see, for me as of right now, I want to see what we do when we tap into this high. Okay, maybe we'll close the entirety of it. That's going to be my next objective, and then maybe we come to the lower end of this. This one I am going to remove from the the weekly and daily. Okay, so we're going to leave that one intact. Okay, we're going to drop down to the weekly time frame. All right, guys. So now on a weekly time frame, weekly perspective. Again, I want to see price action tap into this area down here, and really the next area that gets my attention is this imbalance here. Okay, right below it. So that would be another area that gets my attention in terms of insufficiencies. I like to see insufficiencies when we're bearish. Bullish insufficiencies 50% and above getting filled, right? That would be the ideal targets. So for me on the weekly perspective, I'm looking at 104,420. 104,420. Okay, and I'm gonna write that down with you guys. No worries, I'm gonna be writing that down with you guys. Yeah, last week my long bias on DXY, my initial long bias was way off, and then towards the second half of the week it was just spot on. So if that ever happens, and it may happen again, right, because market does reverse, when that happens I just reassess. Sometimes I wipe out everything out of my chart, and it's not just at the beginning of the week. Sometimes when I get clapped, I'll like wipe out my whole chart as well. So it's just like little strategies that I use to avoid marrying confirmations and avoid, I guess, only looking for confirmations that support my bias, right? Being more confirmation based than actually responding to what the market is telling you. So it's a good practice. If that ever happens to you guys, you're on the wrong side of the market for more than 2 days, I'd say reassess, wipe out the chart, and then boom, go back into it. Okay, so that's why now I am looking at the downside a little bit more. So in terms of the weekly, I'm not super short, but I'm gonna say that we're gonna hit some short targets, right? Because that's what I'm really looking for. I don't care if it closes bullish, but I'm looking for the targets to the downside. So I'm thinking, or I am looking at 104,420. I didn't purposely pick that because of the 420 part. It just happened to be. Okay, so DXY. Cool. And here on the daily, and by the way, if you guys, for those of you who are new, if you guys ever see me go quiet, go off the screen or whatever, I'm journaling on the side. So I'm doing this with you guys, and then I'm adding it to my own journal as we speak. Okay, now we're looking at this monthly range. I mean, and you guys can see this consolidation phase that we're in, that took place all throughout October. Straight up consolidation. Then we have this manipulation towards the downside, ripping through some lows. Okay. If we are going to continue bearish, I'd like to see this imbalance here left intact. I'd like to see that imbalance stay unfilled. Okay. If we are to continue bearish, ideally you don't want to see that imbalance getting played around with too much. You know what was crazy? We were talking about this unmitigated candle the day that we've melted down. We were talking about this unmitigated candle right here above this internal liquidity, and really that's what got us below that previous monthly low, which was really cool. Yeah, right at the first of the month, that's when it started. Crazy drop. So let's go look at, give me 1 second, this one right here. I want to see that throughout. Okay. Was that a previous monthly low? No. Okay, monthly. Cool. So just looking for more downside on a daily perspective. Really, that monthly level that we were looking at, that high right there, that one really looks like the best option in my eyes. And now we're going to change this one. So notice how it's at 104,699. I don't mind rounding it up to 104,700 flat. That's just 1.0 higher. Okay. I don't mind that at all being the objective for today. So I'm going to call that a daily objective. There you Give me just one sec. One sec. We have the opening price for indices here in a couple minutes, so just be patient with me while I fill out this journal. Cool. So daily objective, and I'm gonna put this on the side as well so it's easier for me to see. It's 104,700. Daily objective for DXY. Let's go over to NASDAQ. Okay, NASDAQ again, wiping out the chart. NASDAQ coming out. I mean, look at the way that we came into this previous high right here. Okay, we traded into that previous high. Hey, morning Nate, morning brother. Thank you for being here, Bo. We traded into this previous high, previous area of accumulation. That imbalance just beautiful. We came about 50% of that imbalance and then just pushed higher. Again, looking at this whole month though, 24 days before this full candle closure hits. So for me, I'm just looking at, you know, more lower price action on the long run. But I do think that it's possible that we may even take out that previous monthly high before we see any return towards the downside. So that's kind of an area that gets my attention currently, right? And just looking at this whole area from here till we get to that previous monthly high, okay? Looking at this whole area, we only have insufficiencies, right? Some imbalance, gaps, but we traded through the majority of it already, right? We traded to the premium, except for this wick. But we've traded to the premium end of this trading range. We traded through the premium end of this imbalance. We traded through the premium end of this, you know, mitigation candle. So in my eyes, it's a pretty likely objective. In terms of a weekly though, I am going to go with the lowest and closest to 1. Right? So that is my weekly objective being, one second. And this is NASDAQ. One sec. Yeah, that's my weekly objective for NAS. Is that previous high right there? 15,336.70.75. Okay, it just seems very likely that we're going to just rip through that area this week. And if we do get anything else, you know, awesome. But I personally think that this would be some pretty good liquidity to seek out for this week. And then I'd like to see what happens after that. A lot of manipulation in the markets. Okay, so we got on NASDAQ, I got a long objective. And for the week, and then I got 15,336.75 as the final level. Here, I'm going to copy my link. Add it, and then we're gonna go look at Dow after we finish NASDAQ on the daily. Okay, give me just one sec. All right. So NASDAQ on a daily perspective. Yeah, just looking at this previous area of distribution right here. Again, we pushed up pretty high. We have this mitigation candle right here. Okay, we do have this mitigation candle, and I'd like to see the revisitation or where we're at about 50%. I know this gives you a little line in the middle. Boom. Cool. Perfect. Now we know exactly where 50%'s at. Okay, so 50% being right there. I'd like to see 50% of that today. Maybe even closer to our weekly objective. Our weekly objective may get hit super early, but then I'd be looking at that higher one. So yeah, in terms of price action, I'm looking at 50% of this for today. It looks, again, looks very likely that we're going to hit that very fast and early on this week. So we're 1 minute into the open, but I'm going to mark that out as my daily. Okay. Again, it may hit really early, but it's okay. Nasdaq just kind of pumping up from the opening price. I mean, it was a very clean long. In terms of the 1 hour, we're just really far up there. So it's very difficult for me to want to take a trade so far up there. But if I was looking for something very quick, okay, seeking out, let's say that 50% of that candle, let's bring that mitigation candle back, and then let's go back into the lower time frames. Okay, you guys can see accumulation, redistribution to come into a previous area of accumulation here. We came into this last push down, this last unmitigated candle right here, some nice liquidity, created some insufficiency, and we just pumped up towards the previous daily high and towards that objective pretty early. Yeah, I do see us just continuing pumping pretty much a little bit higher, and then potentially we'll get some lows. I've been looking for lows, and the lows are not coming, so I need some real good evidence for a reversal before I'm looking for lows again. Price action is just melting down. We'll come back to Nasdaq. I do believe that there's just a lot of downside liquidity. Personally, for me, this would be a beautiful short if this ends up being a shorting position. Like, there's quite a bit to go run down lower to. But if this ends up being a shorting position, my eyes go to this 4-hour imbalance first, right below Asian lows. This 4-hour imbalance gets my attention. It's the one that, the previous area of accumulation. It is what's holding up this bullish price action in my eyes. So, if we were to trade down there and close below it, I start looking at the downside. But in terms of objectives for today, that is the main objective right there. That in terms of shorts and objective for shorts, I look at the imbalance. I'm not in any trade. Haven't took anything, but yeah, that imbalance gets my attention. See where we'll get there. I'm actually gonna mark it out. Right below Asian lows. Okay, let's go to Dow. All right. Dow previous monthly high. Looks very well. I mean, that's probably gonna end up being my weekly objective as well. Maybe a little bit higher. So I do like this area actually. That previous monthly high, yes, but that imbalance right there for the long, that gets my attention. We've already traded to the premium end of this bearish imbalance here and the premium end of this range. So for me, it's just pretty good area to go look at right here. This previous area of distribution to potentially get, maybe we get our short presenting themselves through here, but as of right now, just longs. So weekly objective right there, we're looking at 34,360. 34,360. And make sure that, again, you know, I'm trading with the futures, okay? And so just remember that our prices, given our broker feeds, are going to be different. So you would have to do your own markup and see what price your chart is offering. Okay. And again, that that price level is 34,360. Okay, and I'm looking for a long for the week. It doesn't have to be all week, but for the most part, my weekly objective is to the upside. Okay, now on the daily, I mean, yeah, just very likely that we're going to continue pushing higher. $34,305 for the daily. $34,305. Okay. So let's dive into more intraday. Yeah, that divergence between Nasdaq and Dow is very much present for the shorts. So I'm very much in favor of shorts. Now I'm not trying to pick the top, but that is something that I'm looking at. Dow has not taken the previous daily high. Nasdaq has taken the previous daily high, and so that's the main thing right here. Is Nasdaq taking out that previous daily high, Dow not, and S&P fell into as well. So maybe we'll see the lows. I'm not saying that this is a sign of a fucking reversal for the whole week, but what this really does tell me is that we may see these lows first before we see like the double tops on Dow and S&P. Okay, that's all that this divergence is telling me, is not a reversal, but we may be looking at the lows first prior to seeing some more bullishness. Okay, so it's a huge difference between futures and margin. In margin, Dow took those highs. Previous monthly high in margin got taken, but in futures it failed to take it. That's very interesting. Ever since I switched to the futures market, I've failed to do that, to make that comparison myself. So that's a really good observation. I mean, just to kind of show what Fabio's talking about, I think it's important, is going over here on the weekly, and you guys can see that Dow ripped through all those highs and is already at my weekly objective, right? So just beware of that. I have seen it a couple of times where the assets on the futures assets, we like leave a double top, double bottom, and then on the on the other broker feeds, we do leave them intact, or we will take them out barely. So when this happens, though, I'm just aware of both, aware of the probabilities, which are my highest probabilities. But the way that we closed this, besides the fact that we took out this high, the way that we closed here was very bullish, right? So now if I'm looking above the highs for higher objectives. Listen to that. I'm looking above the highs for a higher objective at a higher high. The probabilities get smashed a lot lower. So in my eyes, I wouldn't go for the next high. I'd go for the next low that's closest to my current price action. Right? So that if I'm looking at this feed, I'm looking at that low right there. That resides almost 50% of this imbalance. Right? And I'd be looking at this insufficiency to potentially be seeking out premium price action, which kind of lines up with that. So very good observation though. But futures always leads. Yeah, I mean, I can't say for myself, but yeah, it's very probable that futures do lead. I just haven't made that study case myself. But since I started trading futures, I do feel as if this is more of a premium, like, price action. Not in sense of like bullishness or in a range wise, but in terms of data feed, I feel like it's more of a premium data feed. Because you get more insufficiencies, you get more gaps. Right? And to all the people that think that these gaps don't matter, I mean, they very much matter. And these aren't random gaps that's just missing data. Right? This is between contracts. So you guys can see how we still do utilize everything. Look at this gap right here. I mean, there's no coincidence right there on these areas. Gaps that line up to the left. Right? Look at this gap right here on the left. That's no coincidence. The way we just come back to the high of that. The way that when we came into it, we rejected to another gap. So, yeah, future feeds does show data that some other brokers may not. In terms of leading, I'm not sure. I don't want to say anything so far. But that is a pretty interesting study case. If somebody wants to dive really deep into that, that'd be really cool. Be really, really interested to see that study case. Right? Any questions, comments, or observations before we dive into Euro? Honestly, so far, though, keep an eye on indices. So far, I just don't see anything that gets my attention. But I do want to see shorts, given this divergence. I want to see shorts. I'm on the short side for indices. So if you guys do see some like 5-minute breaks, something like that, I'd be very interested to participate. Okay? So keep an eye on indices while we break down EU. Because we're doing the top down on EU as well. And now EU, man, I'd say always staying with DXY. It's very, very similar to what DXY is doing. Except, I mean, EU did have some major divergence, okay? EU did have some major divergence, right? So these lows actually on DXY, we never took this high right here. This high right here, the one on the 1st of April, or March, sorry, is the same high. I mean low. High. Low. As this one. Give me just one sec. No, actually it did take it out. There was another level of divergence on EU and DXY that really led to this up push right here. I'll find it while we do this breakdown. But in terms of, you know, price action, it's pretty clean. Okay, lower low, external liquidity coming back for internal. Does this push up automatically mean we're bullish? It just depends where you're at in the range. Honestly, the range is to me pretty crucial in this phases. 50%, about 50% is that previous monthly high. I do like that a lot. That whole monthly range, you can have from this high to this low, 50% and above, you got right there. Notice there's not a lot of insufficiencies here until we get to this upper quadrant. Okay, not a lot of imbalances until we get to this upper quadrant of price action. There is some insufficiencies here on the left, and I personally would love to see us trade through that imbalance here on the left, this bullish imbalance. Okay, but the revisitation for 50% and above seems very likely. Now, in terms of a weekly objective, if I'm looking at price action, I'm calling out a weekly objective. I would love to see this high right here. Okay, and then, you know, continue gradually going up. But first this high. I'd love to see that imbalance right there. So 1.7925. Yeah, I'd love to see the bullish imbalance here on the left on EU. EU just barely missing these highs, but again, on a daily perspective, it just seems like the most likely objective. Yeah, if we do return, maybe we'll get back down to this level, but potentially just continue pushing higher. The way we came out of this imbalance here was beautiful. That gap right there, this is beautiful. Beautiful the way we swept it. We went 50% and below that gap, right? And swept that liquidity, that internal liquidity within that gap, and continue to push higher. From this point, you know, we did call out the shorts. I believe that we were going to go at least to this unmitigated area. This unmitigated area still gets my attention. I'm still very curious to see what happens when we actually get in there. But yeah, my eyes were more drawn towards these equal lows right here and through this price action. And we know we took a big reversal right down there. And I believe this was FOMC, right? FOMC really set the low of the week and then just turn price action around towards the upside, taking out this previous high and really just almost overtaking. I guess there's not much of a candle here. I swear on other feeds there's a candle here. Oh no, never mind. Okay. Really just overtook almost the entire monthly range. Where's October? I mean, where's this September end right here at this high? September ends at that high right there. I want to see what happens as we trade higher this week. All right, let's see. 4 hours looking about the same. If we close bearish on the 4 hour though, it would be a pretty good sign. For me at least. Dow is already at the lows. I don't know if anybody took the Dow shorts, but the lows were very clean. We're already at those lows. Okay. We made it to those lows on Dow. Just be aware of that. There's an imbalance a lot lower though on Dow. There is an imbalance down here. So maybe, just fucking maybe, we'll make it down there given this bearish divergence. Okay, it's really, let's give this 4 hour more time to close. We got another 11 minutes on this 4 hour candle, so we'll leave that 4 hour alone till then. S&P as well, those Asian lows just look very very good and probable objective for this short-term short. Price action after 930 shorted, created this insufficiency. We traded back into this insufficiency and away from price action to the downside. We taken out this previous low of the range, of this very small range, and I do believe we're going to just continue pushing a little bit lower. But in terms of the 4 hour, yeah, this 4 hour is about to close. I mean, this daily candle is about to close here. Maybe we leave that open and then trade lower, but as of right now, took out previous 4 hour low, and failed to. Yeah, I'd love to see some more shorts to just continue going long. And this is across the board. I'd love to see some initial shorts to go long. Just know that Dow already took out those shorts. I mean those lows, and that's also divergence. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm probably gonna wait till the hourly closure. We got another 9 minutes before that. Another 9 minutes before the hourly closure. Right. I like the way that Dow is about to close. If we maintain this bearish closure, this looks very likely. Nasdaq just shorting off, imbalance, short, imbalance, short. Nothing bullish yet. So anybody in the shorts, shout out to you. Oh, excuse me. Here on the 15-minute, you guys have the hourly here. Okay, on the right hand side. And then on the far right, you guys have the 4-hour. For those of you wondering what I have on my right hand side. I just want to see the 4-hour open high low close. Tried to sell NAS, but my broker wouldn't execute the trade. Sheesh. I hate when that happens because I've done that before, and it's done this to my broker. And drop some sevens if this has ever happened to you. But I have shorted or long the market. I have market executed, and I didn't see the execution, so I would press the button again. Again, I didn't see the execution, and so one more time. And then next thing you know, I'm like 3 trades into a fucking precision that's, way delayed. It does happen. It says here, TP Smackdown. It's painful. Now, this is still trading into this previous area of accumulation and refusing to go lower. Okay, Dow getting that rejection that I wanted to see. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, if we are going to continue moving to the upside, this is what we want to see. Is one of them hit the lows, okay, and the others failed to take out the low. Now the accumulation seems more probable. Now what would make this even more probable in terms of bullish divergence, because the bearish divergence got us to the low. Okay, the bearish divergence got us to the low. So now what I would love to see is now what happens to 9 a.m.'s low. Okay, what happens to 9 a.m.'s low across the board on these assets? Will they stay intact? Will one of them get taken out and the other one won't? Because if that's the case, and one of them gets taken out and the others don't, then I'm bullish, 9 a.m.'s low. So right here. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at with this. Give me 1 second. I'm going to offset this by like 8. And then I'm going to offset this by like 65. All right, sorry about that. Okay, can you share how you got that paid indicator that shows multiple time frames? Yes. And I won't do it on this video just because I've done it so many times every single week. But here this week, I'm going to create a video so everybody has all the resources for it. And I'll start referring everybody to that video. But I do go over it every single week. I got you. Just I'm really close to, 3 minutes before price action does its thing, and I want to stay glued to the charts till then, till silver bullet time. So if we do have time at the end of the video, at the end of the stream, I'll definitely go over it. But as of right now, I'm not really looking to go over it. Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is kind of what I was looking at. Dow taking out the lows. All the other ones fell too. I like this. I like this because we still have upside liquidity, right? That bearish divergence got us low enough to take downside liquidity. Now we have this bullish divergence, right? That may get us right back to this initial bearish divergence. And why would I take this bullish divergence given that this bearish divergence is a daily bearish divergence? Because throughout all the time frames, what was our objective? It was bullish, upside. Weekly upside, daily upside. So it makes no sense to aim to be shorting, right, for a very long period of time if clearly our higher time frame objectives are to the upside. Now, we're not looking for to be correct, but the only reason that we picked those upside objectives is because we were extremely bullish throughout those time frames. Extremely bullish throughout the time frames, right? So trust your higher time frame analysis. Your higher time frame should not get dismissed just because now we're on the 5-minute. So this bullish divergence is playing out really nicely. Again, Dow hitting the Asian lows, S&P and Nasdaq fell into. And now after the 10 a.m. candle starts or opens, I would like to see what happens to 9 a.m.'s low across the board on all three. I do like how Dow is closing. Nasdaq trading into this previous area of distribution. Dow just kind of chilling at those Asian lows. And S&P really making a rally towards that upside. S&P has the most lows though. Some future targets maybe later on this week. Could be this week, this month. Give me 1 sec. 1 sec. But yeah, in terms of the indicator, like I said, I'll make a video for you guys. I know I've been saying that for a while, but I definitely will make a video for you guys. Now that I got my editing software back up, got Streamlabs all set up. We got 10 a.m. candle did close for us here. Okay, perfect. Four-hour. Respected this low overall. Created some relative equal lows. Let's see if we take those out before we look for anything else. Dow heading for that 9 a.m. low. NASDAQ heading for that 9 a.m. low from that 3-minute insufficiency. S&P heading for that low as well. Dow hit that 9 a.m. low. Out. NASDAQ really heading for that as well. I mean, S&P really heading for that as well. Oh, what's good, Jason? Honestly, if the shorts do play out, I just don't see an insufficiency. I would have liked the shorts more, ideally. I just don't see any insufficiencies to the downside. Any of them that look like they would hold NASDAQ hitting that low. About to hit that low. Yeah, across the board, I think all of them have hit it, or except for S&P. S&P is the only one that has not hit that 9 a.m. low. But I do believe it's gonna hit it, just the way that we're printing right now. Here's some insufficiencies on the 1 minute, but that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. I don't see anything but the 1 minute having all these imbalances. I'm still in favor for the longs as well, by the way. I think NASDAQ longs right now look very probable. There's just this right here alone. I would love to see an imbalance. I really would. Maybe I'll mark this one out and then see if it lines up with any lower time frame imbalances. There's this 1 minute imbalance here on the left. We'll see what happens in there. So far, we're respecting this 15-minute one down here. Yeah. Traded into previous area of distribution. Just pushing lower. Dow shorts may make it to our objective after all. You know what? Yeah, I really don't see anything as of now. You know, I'm gonna be here for like another 15 minutes. Nothing shows up, then I'm just gonna call it a session. I do have a couple one-on-ones today. Give me 1 sec, guys. 1 sec. There's that bearish imbalance on NASDAQ. It's we're still trading within it. You guys see that? Like, we are respecting this 15-minute imbalance down here. Okay, and that really gives me the bullish bias. Let's just overtake this 1 minute previous area of accumulation or distribution right here, and then I'd feel a lot better about these longs. But if not, you know, we did have a bullish bias for DXY anyways. It just kind of makes sense. Or I guess we didn't, huh? We may accumulate there. The 4 hour looks like it wants to. Yeah, the 4 hour definitely looks like it wants to accumulate, right? The daily is looking pretty stagnant. Previous areas of distribution are pretty high up. So, Asian high. Yeah, we may be from previous daily low to Asian high. Which would leave us pretty short for the day on indices. We'll see though. 1 minute just continuously failing to take out that 15-minute imbalance and really just continuously accumulating away from it. S&P, no low yet. It went right down to it, created a double bottom. Dow kind of staying stagnant. S&P again stagnant. NASDAQ same thing. Lots of liquidity. I don't want to be a part of it, to be honest. Don't want to be a part of any of that liquidity. Just notice the way that price action is coming back to every single point of distribution. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Right? It's coming back to all the points of accumulation, all the points of distribution. And so it just keeps going back and forth, right? And so that's pretty healthy price action. That's pretty balanced price action. right? And it may not be something that we take out today, but it is something that I'd be looking at for potential objectives later on this week, is all of this price action that we're creating today. So if we were to have another long week, you know, all this liquidity being built up makes sense. Man, no Asian lows. Yeah, on Dow. I mean on S&P. Yeah, I'll be patiently waiting for some good evidence on the longs. But as of right now, I don't really see anything that I want to participate in. Nasdaq just seems like the one that I'd like to go long on. But again, nothing for me to take as of yet. So I'm going to let price action do its thing. I'm going to go run a couple things here this morning before my one-on-one. Make sure I get some food in my stomach. And I suggest you guys do the same. I mean, if you're in the short, perfect. Set your objective, your target, and leave the charts. You know, if you're waiting for the longs like me, set alerts. You know, because S&P does look like the closest one to Asian low, and that may be the bullish divergence that we're waiting for right now. So just kind of waiting right now and waiting for that downside liquidity, whether it's a sister liquidity or the liquidity within this chart itself. I'm looking for that downside liquidity. So I'm going to leave an alert here on the Asian low on S&P. No alert on Nasdaq. On Nasdaq, I want to see what we do below these 4-hour lows. Nasdaq is the only one that has not taken out the previous 4-hour lows. Taking out the 9 a.m. low, but not the 4-hour lows. Okay. There it is. So I want to see what happens on Nas once we take out this low right here. EU dumped. Wow, that's a beautiful short. Off the 30-minute right there. Beautiful short. 15-minute imbalance was even better to the Asian low. Stop loss above the high of the imbalance. Asian low right there. It's a nice 1 to 4. Let's look at DXY. What was DXY doing here? Very similar, right? Just accumulated, came into that imbalance. Here's something I want to note. This is also divergence. For those of you who are not aware of this type of divergence, this is also divergence. Okay? That high at 8 a.m. to the high of 9:45, we traded into this imbalance, and then the low of 8 a.m. on DXY to the low of 9:45, we failed to tap into that imbalance. That is also divergence. Okay. So there are different ways of looking at divergence, but if you guys didn't see this type of divergence, this is also divergence. This is a great short. Yeah, price action is going to continuously distribute. Now we're distributing out of that 15-minute imbalance we originally marked out, but for some reason is not there anymore. But for me, that 90, what was it? Previous 4-hour candle. There it is. I marked out the wrong one. That previous 4-hour candle does get my attention. Previous area of accumulation. We got a breaker. So again, I'm pretty bullish on indices. I remain pretty bullish on indices. And if I was going to go long on one, it'd be NAS. That doesn't mean my bias on EU is any different. I remain with that same bearish and objective on EU. I think that Asian low is going to hit pretty nicely. Yeah, just continuation on the downside. DXY hit the Asian highs. Just bringing to the attention, DXY hit the Asian highs. EU failed to take out the Asian low. Just like that one imbalance was divergence, this is also divergence. You're gonna see divergence everywhere. It's just a matter of like, are you on the right side of the market? That's really it. Are you in the correct side of the market? Because divergence usually plays out for a period of time, regardless which side it's on. Right? But if you want to be on the divergence on the long term, it truly does matter which side or what your bias was on the higher time frame. That was doing it. Starting to. This imbalance on S&P gets my attention. On the 2-minute, it's a bullish imbalance. This previous area of accumulation on Dow gets my attention. Jesus. Yeah, I didn't have my broker, my MetaTrader open for this, but this is ideally what I wanted to see. We tapped right back into that imbalance that I just highlighted, previous area of accumulation. We just barely tapped into that imbalance on S&P, that 2-minute imbalance. And yeah, I'm just aiming for those highs, you know, previous high and previous daily high. Just seems very likely. So if anybody did get in on that, shout out to you. I'm rooting for you because I missed that. Look at NASDAQ 4-hour candle. Look at the way the new 4-hour candle on NASDAQ. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Big downside push. Creating some more upside liquidity. Three-minute has an imbalance right here. That imbalance gets my attention. Lines up with the breaker. Damn, we came down really close to it. I was gonna pull it, but it came super close to it. I am looking to get in right there though. It does look like a very high probability area. Dow, personally, I think Dow is just ready to keep going from where it's at. This bullish imbalance. I mean, bullish order block right here. Just looks very probable that it's just going to continue pushing upwards. Yeah, right from where Dow's at, I believe that we're going to just continue. S&P's right back to that same area, creating some equal highs. Nasdaq did get to our imbalance. I did miss it. Damn. So you get for navigating. On Mondays, you want to make sure you're a sniper. Don't want to chase the market. If I'm buying and I get in on a bullish up printing candle, I'm chasing the money. I'm not letting it come to me. Right? If you're buying on an up close candle or an up printing candle, you're chasing the bag. You're not letting the bag come to you. How's Dow looking? S&P attempting to do a little some accumulation there. Nasdaq kind of refused to get back into that 2-minute imbalance. This Nasdaq long in my eyes was it. 2-minute long. And for the 1 to 3, you're looking at just that 1 to 3 right there. So that 1 to 3 just right there. Do you want to go for the entirety of that range? It's almost a 1 to 5. Dow going up from that order block that we mentioned. Nasdaq just kind of struggling to go up higher. Still got these equal highs right here. Want to see us rip through those highs right there. S&P came back to that 2-minute imbalance and reaccumulated on the 1 minute. I remain with my bias. I'm still long. And I believe we're going to head towards that bearish divergence from the initial part of the session. That initial divergence, bearish divergence of the session is my target. If that makes sense. Right? Because it was just a divergence initiated to recollect some downside liquidity, right? We've rounded up some downside liquidity. We've created some more downside liquidity also. And so I feel like that is the main objective. S&P is really gonna do it, bro. Like, and I'm keep missing these fucking entries. 1, 2, 3 entries so far on S&P. Nasdaq only gave 1, but I do believe, like I said, I'm like these areas. I do believe that these are it. So Dow's struggling to go higher. $15-minute still bearish on Dow. 1 hour remains bearish on Dow. I mean, in a way, somewhat. Right. Honestly, if Dow got down here, I'd be going long. If Dow came back and gave me that opportunity, I'd be going long. Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave an alert down there just in case, because it does look like these guys want to retrace and give us an opportunity. Nasdaq, for fuck's sakes, I missed it. Oh no, that's S&P. I already missed that one. Nasdaq has this small gap right here. Small gap lining up with the previous area of accumulation. Just very, very small volume imbalance right there. S&P may even like take out these initial lows within this imbalance. Yeah, in terms of Nasdaq, I didn't get that pull back into it. Oh shit. That's all I wanted is that. I'm not even asking for that 3-minute imbalance anymore. No, Nasdaq, don't fucking do it. Don't you fucking blast through these highs yet. Let's see what EU is doing. Let's see how well EU did. Buenos dias, papi. Let's go. We got some Spanish speakers in here. That's cool. I love Spanish. I used to say this all the time. Back when I worked at a warehouse, I walk in there every single Monday, and people hated me for it. They'd have the biggest fucking like frown on their faces, but I love Mondays. I've always have since a long time. I've never frowned on Mondays. I've never been like, oh fuck, it's Monday. It's like, nah, dude, time to make some money. And I'd always say this in Spanish and be like, es lunes y el cuerpo lo sabe. And it translates to, it's Monday and the body knows it. In Spanish it sounds a lot, not gonna lie, but in Spanish it sounds a lot better. But you always hear people saying like it's viernes y el cuerpo lo sabe, like super ready for the weekend and stuff like that. But honestly, it's Monday. Body knows it. Mind and body ready. Yeah. Yeah, and I'd always go in there, bro. I'm telling you, like these older Hispanic ladies taught me that saying. They'd be like, Bastian, like, es viernes, like, are you ready for the weekend? El cuerpo lo sabe, and all this stuff. And ever since I heard them say that, I'd walk in every Monday and I'd be like, es lunes y el cuerpo lo sabe. And it's like 5 a.m. in the morning. People are like half asleep and stuff. And I'm just like super ready to fucking go. You know? Man, who's in these longs? I know I fumbled it myself because I haven't fucking gone in any of them, but I've felt these longs coming. Ripping through the highs, as we mentioned just a few minutes ago. Ripping through the highs. Who's in these longs? Let me just drop some fives in the chat if you took some of these longs, because I'm feeling that McDonald's slogan. I'm loving it. Fives, nice. Some threes, some fives. I hope the threes means you're in the longs. But my boy Shibin, let's go, bro. Shout out to you, bro. You've been killing it. Seeing you always on the charts. Awesome. Love the consistency. Yeah, the longs ended up playing out really nicely. I'm going to make it a goal for myself, at least, to have my MetaTrader open before I like start the stream. I don't know why, but ever since I switched to futures market, I forget to open up my MetaTrader till like I actually want to take the trade. I forget to open it. I'm so used to just like clicking buy and sell directly from here. That was so much faster. Zay just got out. Nice, brother. Nice. Got some good longs. Took some sells at the 9:30 open. Nice. Turtle soup sell. I love the Spanish terms. Sopa de tortuga. Bro, hit me up. I love these ICT Spanish terms. Then took the buys. 3-minute FEG. Nice. Are you talking about NASDAQ, or are you talking about which asset are you talking about? Let's go, Shibian. Oh, nice, NQ. Nice. No, dude, this 3-minute imbalance was super clean. Super clean. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't take a trade, guys. That's unfortunate. The one that I really wanted to take was either NASDAQ or S&P. NASDAQ or S&P, really. Dow never came back to our area. So, you know, and on Dow, I'll tell you guys why I mentioned that Dow would just pop off through where it's at. So now take a look at this 5-minute chart right here on the right. Okay. Right here. Okay. Take a look at this 5-minute chart right here on the right. We were looking at the 1, 2 minute, 3 minute, and just look at this 5-minute chart. This previous area of accumulation right here, where this whole push down started. Okay. You guys can see very nicely this volume imbalance right there. Okay. So that volume imbalance is actually from right here, this little low, to this opening. Okay, it's from that low to that opening. So from that candle's closure to that opening, there's a price gap. These are called volume gaps, and you guys can see after the 5-minute close, so the new 5-minute candle opened here. Look at the very next candle after the new 5-minute candle. So that's really where the longs on Dow came from. Is once I saw that 5-minute candle close, that volume imbalance made the most sense to hold out some more longs. Now Dow may come back for that area. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Most targets were hit. Those intermediate targets, 1, 2, 3s were achieved. I'm personally gonna call it a day. Call it good. Don't need every single price movement. But I am gonna be here tomorrow. Okay, where can I hit you up on IG or Twitter? So the best place to hit me up is actually Telegram. So in either, I mean, IG works too. I get back to everyone on IG within the 24 hours. For sure within 24 hours. Twitter, if you tweet me, then yes. If you hit me on a DM, I'll probably never get to it. I'm not gonna lie to you. DMs on Twitter are not great. Unless you have like unless you're verified, the Twitter really doesn't have a very good way to contact individuals that you may, or like new contacts. Like Twitter's good for people that follow each other, but Twitter's not that great for individuals that don't follow each other. So yeah, hit me up on either IG or Telegram. The link to my Telegram is on the description below. It should be a link tree, and you guys can shit, man. Like you guys can email me, message me, like whatever. All my contact info is on there directly. So hit me up, guys. Hit me up if you guys have any questions. Yeah. I personally want to dive deeper into my Spanish side, so that's why I definitely want to link up with my Hispanic individuals. And look at that. Look at the way we're reversing. So hopefully you guys paid yourself at that 1 and 3 at those first targets. But yeah, so far so good. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Technical Tuesdays. All right? Again, don't blow all your bullets today. All right? Let's run it up, guys. Let's have an incredible week. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm doing a giveaway this week for a 1-hour one-on-one with myself. So I'll see you guys later on this week. I'll see you tomorrow for the free one-on-one details. I don't know why that was such a hard thing to say. The giveaway details. I'll come back tomorrow with the giveaway details for you guys. But it has something to do with the dog I rescued a couple weeks ago. So if you guys have been here for a couple weeks, then you should know the story. If not, I'll tell it again later on this week, so that way you guys have a few reminders. But all right, guys, I'm all set. Love you guys. Take care. Trade responsibly. Clap easy. And I will talk to you soon. Peace.